Hey Puzzle Buddies, it's a new week, a new puzzle, let's get into it. This puzzle comes from Springbok. It's a 500 piece, it's called The Colors of Crayola. I'm really excited that I was able to pick this one up because I feel like I've seen this somewhere before and I know I had my eye on it. But I'm not quite sure. I feel like if you watch my channel, you probably watch a few other puzzle YouTubers. So let me know, is there somebody who has this puzzle like in their background, or maybe I just saw it in like a haul or something? I'm not really sure, but super excited to have this one and be able to do it. I just grabbed this puzzle a few weeks ago during like Black Friday or Thanksgiving week or whenever there is a sale happening, because there's another puzzle that I've been having my eye on the Springbok website, but I think I'm going to save it for like a 400 subscriber special sort of a thing. So let's keep growing this channel so that way you guys can see that video, because it will be an interesting one. Like I mentioned, this one is a Springbok 500 piece puzzle. So in true Springbok fashion, all the pieces are very, very random cut. You can kind of see it as I'm laying the pieces out on the table. Now that I'm thinking about it, does Springbok do any like traditional cut puzzles, or have they ever done that in the past? I know Karen Puzzles specifically does older, a few decades old puzzles, specifically from Springbok. I know she does a lot of. I think they've all been random cut, so I'm actually curious if they ever even attempted to do normal cut puzzles or not. I don't know. But anywho's, I didn't have any like real plan for this puzzle. I mostly did like a pick and place / very loosely sorting of things, so I just kind of went in and just started doing this puzzle. I wasn't speed running it, so I just wanted to take my time, have fun with it, just kind of relax. I thought that the best way to really make any sort of progress was to sort out pieces based off of like the color of the boxes, or like pieces based off of the color of like the wrappers on the crayons. Some of the crayon boxes, the colors are very unique. So if I saw a piece that was that color, I knew it could only be in this particular section. And then same thing for some of the wrappers of the crayons themselves. However, pieces that were like just the crayon itself, you couldn't necessarily tell where it belonged to most of the time. There are also a couple of crayon boxes that have like special characters on them and things like that. So I just kind of went through the box and pulled out pieces. If I thought I knew where it went, then I would just put it in a pile or try to piece it together. Here and there, you will see some cameos of whatever I was snacking on while I was doing this puzzle, because the pregnancy hunger just could not wait. So you'll see like an applesauce or two. I think I had like a soda or something at one point. So you'll see those, but hopefully it's not too distracting or anything. And I have a question for you guys. Do you prefer that my commentary pretty much only be about the puzzle or something that relates to the puzzle, or does it not really matter? I ask that because I feel like usually I try to stay pretty on topic with the theme of the puzzle or what's going on with it or that sort of thing. However, I don't particularly have a whole lot to say about Crayola crayons or art supplies or anything, so I don't really have a plan for this week's video as far as my conversation goes. So I figured I would just kind of talk about the shows that I've been watching recently, and you guys can let me know what you're watching too. Okay, first off, something that I've been watching recently is The Ultimatum on Netflix. Now, the season is still ongoing, so like I won't give any spoilers, but if you're not familiar, The Ultimatum, it's just like cringy, bad TV. But like I can't stop watching it. Basically, the premise of the show is that 5 or 6 couples each season, currently we're in season 3, but 5 or 6 couples come together, and essentially one person out of the pair has issued an ultimatum to the other person saying, hey, I want to get married or else. So it starts off basically with everyone coming together, airing their grievances as far as why they do want to get married versus why the other person doesn't want to get married. And then the couples all break up and then spend the next few days essentially dating the other people that came in this group. And then after they date for a while, they all pair up and then live as if they are married to this new person. So they spend 3 weeks married to, living with this new person, supposed to be discovering like what they may or may not be missing in their current relationship. And then they spend 3 weeks back with their original partner. And at the end of this, they're supposed to decide whether or not they feel like they are now ready to get married, or if they're ready to just call it quits, and or if they want to now start trying to pursue a relationship with that new person that they were married to for a little while. And yes, it is as ridiculous and messy and dumb as you are imagining it, but I just can't stop. Me, my mom, and my sister love watching that show. We love gossiping about it every single week, when it's airing, so I just love it. Right now, we're waiting for like the last 2 episodes to be released, and then after that should be the reunion. So let me know if you're watching, and what do you feel about the cast this season, because there's been some interesting things. The next thing that's been keeping my attention is I've kind of fallen down, it's not even really a rabbit hole. I've just been watching these like limited series, like thriller, who done it, who was the killer, like shows on Netflix. The one I finished a few days ago is called The Perfect Couple. And again, no spoilers, because I think both of these shows also released fairly recently. But in The Perfect Couple, it's like about this very like well-off family, and there's supposed to be a wedding, things happen, somebody is murdered, and the whole, like, it's only like 6 episodes, but those whole 6 episodes is them trying to figure out who done it, basically. And you kind of go through like how just about every single person there could have had some sort of motive to have murdered this person. And honestly, up until the end, you really don't know who it is. At least I saw in some people's commentary that they kind of figured out from the beginning. I didn't see it coming, so I thought that one was pretty decent. And now I'm currently watching one called Fool Me Once, I think. That one is like 8 episodes, and I'm on episode 6 right now. So only 2 episodes left. And I'll be honest with you, this one, I'm confused. There's so many pieces of different stories. I have no clue where this thing is going. Like with The Perfect Couple, it was pretty straightforward. There was supposed to be this big event, the wedding. Someone dies, and every episode we're kind of digging into somebody else's story a little bit and seeing how they are related, or like their relationship to that person. So that one, like, even though there were twists and turns, like you could follow it all the way through. This one, in Fool Me Once, there are so many moving pieces that I'm partially confused and partially just like, girl, where, how does this end? How do all of these pieces connect? Because it has to all come together at some point. I'm assuming in the next 2 episodes, because it's only 2 more episodes. But I truly just don't know. I don't know. And then the last like random category of things I've been watching are survivalist shows. So a few weeks ago, I watched both seasons of Outlast, also on Netflix. I think the first season of Outlast came out last year, so again, no spoilers. But basically, it's like 20-ish people, and they more or less randomly get split up into groups. And then they're like in Alaska, in kind of different little parts of this one area. But they basically have to outlast each other, surviving in the wilderness as a group, and seeing like who gets hurt and decides to go home, who can't take it anymore, and see who lasts till the end. And that one was interesting, but I didn't really like it because it's called Outlast. However, the final kind of thing to determine who wins is a race. So that kind of like defeats the purpose of the show. And then since I finished both seasons of Outlast, I switched over to my new bedtime show, which is Alone. Now, the premise of Alone is pretty similar to Outlast. However, this time they're on an island off of Canada. So it's still very cold. They're still out there surviving. And then as the name suggests, they're doing it alone versus as a group in Outlast. Also in Outlast, the groups are all spread apart. However, they were close enough to each other that you could like look across and see the other teams, or you could like walk around to other teams and like talk to them, try to trade with them, make a deal, that sort of a thing. In Alone, they are purposely spread out far enough apart that they don't come across each other. So the entire time that they are out there, they have no clue how well or how poorly any of the other contestants are doing. They don't know how many other people are left, because Alone is only 10 people. And so you don't know if all 10 people are left. You don't know if there's only 3 of you left. You don't know until either you leave or you're the last person if they come and get you. and that has been keeping me thoroughly entertained. I do think in my perfect world, I would combine those two shows a bit. Like, I like some elements of Alone and some elements of Outlast. I feel like together it could be something really good. However, Alone on its own, I'm really liking it. I'm only on season 2. The first season released in like 2015, and so there's like 10 or 11 seasons out. So there's a lot to go through, but I'm excited to keep seeing how this goes. So please let me know down in the comments, have you watched any of these shows? What are your thoughts? And what else are you watching right now? Because I need more things. Back to the puzzle. Okay, now I have roughly, I don't know, I'm gonna say 40, 50 pieces left, but I'm now at that point where I'm looking at the pieces left and I'm thinking, like, do these pieces even belong to this puzzle? Because like, I was having a hard time like visualizing where things go. Also, at this point, a lot of the pieces that are left are just like the tops of crayons, and so it's just random assortments of color. I can't quite tell where pieces go, so I wasn't really getting frustrated. I was just like confused. So I'm doing a lot of like rotating the box so I can rotate the pieces around, trying to like pick a spot and find that piece. However, because it's such a random cut, it's hard to visualize what piece you're missing because you don't know what shape it's supposed to be. You know kind of like what you're looking for, but also not really. So I'm just spending a lot of time trying to get these last few pieces in. We finally get those last few pieces in and we are done. And this puzzle is so pretty. I love looking at this. Now, my only gripe with this is that this puzzle does not come with a poster, which is fine. It seems like a lot of brands don't include posters. However, if you're not going to include a poster, I feel like we should have a clear image of the full picture on the box. And here we do not. In fact, the whole thing is like slightly skewed. So here I am showing you a few of the differences between the puzzle itself and the image that we received on the box. And so we have more puzzle than we do image for most of like the left side and the bottom. However, at the top, you can see that we're actually missing some puzzle compared to the box. Like on the Pearl Crayons box, that you can see that there's like a little nub of a yellow goldenish crayon on top of it. However, we don't see that on the actual puzzle. You may have seen while I was puzzling that I was really like pushing some pieces down sometimes, and that's because the fit was so tight that sometimes I really had to squeeze those pieces in there. Like you can see some of them are popped up, like it's not even really flat, so I had to go back in and squeeze some of them down. And since the pieces were so snug, I went ahead and did a very lazy one-handed pickup challenge. And I had minimal casualties after the fact, so I feel like if I had actually done this with 2 hands, it probably would have been just fine. So that's all I've got for you for this week. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.